Now I'm just in the process of setting up a Reptile 1 turtle aquarium. So we have some turtles coming soon, and in the meantime we're going to look at putting some fish in it just to start the biological process. Now the fish that I would start with in this tank would be some golden mountain clouds, some mountain clouds, and some zebra danios. These fish are very cheap, very hardy, but once the turtle goes in there, they're probably going to end up being turtle food, because if you're unlucky, the turtles will eat all the fish. If you're lucky, the turtles will not eat the fish. If you're sort of lucky, they'll eat some of the fish and some of them will survive. So other fish like rosy barbs are another common one that you'll see with turtles. But it all comes down to, will your turtle get along with my turtle? Or will your turtle get along with the fish? It's all got to do with the actual turtle itself. It just depends on the personality of the individual turtle. So the idea would be get a little bit of livestock in here, wait a couple of weeks. Then you can add a bit more livestock, whether you get hold of your turtle by then or whatever. If you're going to get baby turtles, you might consider reducing the water level to reduce the chance of the turtle drowning, because somebody's auntie once read on the internet that somebody's friend had a turtle that drowned. So having a low water level with smaller turtles is advisable. And then we also have the larger gravel, because somebody's auntie's friend's best friend dog heard that someone read on the internet that a turtle choked on gravel. So while this probably is a possibility, we tend to go with the really fine or the really coarse gravel. So in this case, we've got quite the coarse gravel. So when we're doing a water change, one thing we really want to do is we've got a gravel siphon here, and we want to use that siphon to really get into the gravel when we're pulling water out of the aquarium. If possible, we really want to be changing a little bit of water every couple of weeks, using the gravel cleaner. And then in the back here, we've got the filter. So here is a pump. It's good to pull that out and give the impeller a clean about, once a quarter even. And then we've got a big sponge. You want to pull the sponge out, give the sponge a clean in water from the fish tank. What you don't ever want to use is use tap water to kill the good bacteria that's in the filter. So you want to be cleaning the filter in water from the tank. Then in here we've got some noodles, and there's a lot more room there if you needed to add some biological media like some marine pure or something that's better, or even some polyfilter. And if there ever was a smell, you can add activated carbon, because activated carbon is wonderful for getting rid of any smells. And this is a very big filter, so there's a lot of room here for more filtration if you need be. Now there's a heater here. The heater needs to be under the water. You can turn the heater up or down, and basically the light will switch on if the temperature in the tank is below what the heater is set for. If the temperature is too high, then you could consider blowing a fan or something on the surface. Now this tank is going to have a UVB 5.0 tube on it. So we've got a light shade that's been ordered. We can put that tube in, and we want to make sure that tube is being replaced yearly. And we want to run the tube for a maximum of 8 hours a day. Now, what else we have here? We have a turtle block. It's good to put that in every now and then just to make sure your turtle has got plenty of good calcium in the water. Now, when you're doing a water change, the three things I would typically put in the water is some water ager, takes the chlorine and stuff out of the water, a little bit of KH to stop the KH falling too low. Then you've got a little bit of GH with calcium. So those three are what I want to add every time I do a water change. But if you bring a sample of water down to Majestic Aquariums and a little video of the situation, then we can test the water and make sure everything's okay. If your KH or GH is getting too high or low, we can let you know, so you can alter how much you're adding. And then you also may, if you end up getting a lot of stock in this tank and you end up finding that maybe you're having trouble getting your ammonia and nitrite down, then you may decide to add an aerator for extra bubbles, because more oxygen is going to help the filter work more effectively. So extra bubbles will look nice and would certainly add to the tank as an optional suggestion for later. Now, we've also got some sludge destroyer, which over a period of time is a good thing to use. I've added some good bacteria. the good bacteria is best kept in the fridge, and that once you've opened it, and that would probably apply to that one as well. So these two here are probably better off in the fridge once you've opened them, and they're going to add good bacteria that help to keep their tank nice and clean. Now for feeding, the baby turtles will often be fed outside the water, so people will often just get like a tub or something that they'll put the baby turtle in while it's feeding. Not so much, they won't do that so much for the adults. It's good to follow your breeder's advice for that sort of stuff. So a tank like this would sort of be perfect for, say, a couple of long-necked turtles. They're a very social animal. They interact a lot with humans, and they eat a lot. So don't ever be tricked by a turtle, because it'll act like it's starving, but in actual fact you'll end up overfeeding it. Now if you, on a semi-regular basis, even if it be every few months, get a water sample, bring it down to Majestic Aquariums, and we can check ammonia and nitrite. That'll tell us if the filter's working efficiently. If the filter's not working efficiently, the first thing we'd want to do is add more bubbles or more air to the tank. Then if you've got nitrate, then we would be recommending that you increase the amount of water changes that you're doing. Once again, when you're doing the water changes, you're really wanting to use that gravel cleaner and go through the gravel. You're wanting to use that little clean pad to do the glass once a week. The more light that the tank gets, the more algae the tank will tend to get. So you want to keep the feeding to a minimum. You want to have a good idea of what an overfed turtle or an overfed fish looks like. And in saying that, you also really want to understand what an underfed fish looks like too. So if over time you notice your animal's getting skinny or fat, then you can do something about it. And once again, when you bring your sample of water down to Majestic every now and then, it's good to bring the video as well, so we can have a little look at what's in the tank. Once again, a turtle has got a lot of personality. So some turtles are great with other turtles, some turtles are not. Some turtles, I've seen them with yabbies, I've seen them with fish, I've seen things work, and I've seen all those same things not work. Because once again, it really comes down to the individual personality of the animal. And once again, if in doubt, anytime you're going to buy fish, anytime you're going to do anything new to the aquarium, popping a sample of water down to the shop is our main advice. If your pH is starting to fall, then you can add more KH buffer to fix that, and we can guide you as you go. Now over time, if you notice your ornaments being dirty, reducing light is always going to help. And then if you throw them outside in the sun, so if you left it there for a day in the sun, then you switch it around the other side, leave it there for another day, and that's going to do a wonderful job to clean it back up, because the sun will bleach off the algae really well. So other than that, everything wants to be done slowly. So you can add some fish, wait a couple of weeks, add a couple of turtles, wait a couple of weeks, test the water in between each one of these changes. If your nitrate level is starting to accumulate, then we're going to want to be increasing the amount of water changes. If the ammonia and nitrite is accumulating, then adding extra good bacteria is a good thing, but don't overdose it. And a 5 times dose of your water agent will detoxify ammonia and nitrite, and that will give you time to let your filters settle in a bit better. And once your filter's settled in and it's got lots of good bacteria in it, that's when you really shouldn't be having any problems. The most problems that you have are in the first month, and that's while you're waiting for your good bacteria to establish. But once again, if anything's not making sense, or if anything along the way doesn't seem right, just pop down to see us at Majestic Aquariums with a little water sample and a video, and we can guide you. But turtles really are a wonderful pet. They're really like a dog in a fish tank.